Hello, Science Lines! Hello, I'm Lara. This is Theory of Science. I stream free live lessons to home educators, and you found me, and it's our last Shakespeare lesson, and I've been loving Shakespeare so much. I found out some amazing things about Shakespeare's sonnets that I didn't know until I started researching these lessons. If this is your first lesson, doesn't matter. This is a great time to jump in. We're studying Shakespeare's most famous sonnet today, possibly the most famous Shakespeare sonnet ever written. Possibly the most famous sonnet ever written. Anyway, we need to set up the activity straight away. If you're doing this with me, what I said is, can you bring an apple or something that goes brown quite quickly when you cut it? If you get an adult to do it for you, that would be perfect. So I don't really want you to be like watching me on the screen and cutting at the same time. But what I'd like you to do, while I'm telling you a bit about Shakespeare's life that we need to know for today, can you cut some pieces of apple? It's better if they're all the same size. This isn't really a science experiment, it's just sort of for lols, so it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly the same size. And what we're going to do is, we're going to talk about preserving things. So we're going to put some different stuff onto this apple and see at the end of the lesson which one's the most brown and which one's the least brown. So if you've got any vinegar on you, that would be a good thing to put on one of the pieces. If you've got some salt, that would be a good thing. If you've got some lemon juice, or lime juice, have an experiment yourself. Can you leave one of them? Right. First of all, we have to check that they're all the same colour now, because I just cut them all. Can you leave one of them just plain apple? So I'm going to leave that one on the end plain. And then however many different things you want to experiment with, just get a piece of apple for each one. So I'm going to put some vinegar on one of these. There we go. Obviously, yeah, if this was an actual proper science experiment, then I would have to wash my hands in between putting all the different stuff on to make sure I didn't contaminate my samples. But I'm not going to do that. That one's got vinegar on it. I'll put the vinegar bottle next to that one so I know. This one I'm going to put some lemon juice on it. I'm showing you what to do. You don't need to panic and rush this. You can just do it in your own time. In a sec, I'm going to tell you a bit about Shakespeare's life, and you can be chopping and putting lemon juice on or whatever while I'm doing that. So I put my hands, been gardening. I've had a lovely time. It looks awful. So that one's plain. That one's vinegary. That one's lemon juice. I've got a bit of seepage, haven't I? Let's put that over there. And that one I'm going to put some salt on. But I can't use my posh salt grinder and point you at it at the same time. So I'm just going to do that like that. Right. Okay. So if you could be setting that up, chop up some food. It doesn't need to be apple, anything that you think will go brown. Banana would be quite good, wouldn't it? And then at the end of the lesson, we'll see what these little cubes of apple look like. And we'll talk about preserving things, because that's one of the things that Shakespeare wanted to do with sonnet number 18. Okay, put my salt there so I know which one's which. Have a look at, actually you've got an advantage because you're watching this the third time I do it. So I've got the results of yesterday's lesson that I did on Facebook already. Have a guess, look. This is from a day ago, so these have been left like 24 hours. Which one do you think of those is the salted one? Which one's the lemon juicy one? Which one's the vinegary one? Which one's the apple on its own? They're very different, aren't they? One of them is very bright white still, and two of them are very brown. Anyway, it will all be revealed. So, I asked you, just to make sure that everyone's thought about this, we'll talk about this in a bit. Here are some roses at different stages of their life. Which do you think is the most beautiful? So you've got the flower, number 3, and then if the flower gets pollinated and the fruit grows, the plant gets to grow a seed, that's number 1 happening. That's the rose hip, so that's got little seeds inside. And then number 2 is the rose hips after quite a long time, so they're all wrinkly. Which one of those do you think is the most beautiful, the rose or the rose hip or the wrinkly rose hips, and why as well? Do you think that it's your natural favourite? Do you think if you'd been born in a box and lived in a box forever and then I'd showed you those 3 things, do you think you still would have chosen that one? Or do you think that life has kind of taught you to choose a certain one? So we'll talk about that later, because Shakespeare's sonnet number 18 is all about beauty and preserving things. Right, so while you're chopping and dribbling liquid onto different bits of food, I'll tell you a little bit about Shakespeare's life, because it's relevant. I didn't know how personal his sonnets were. So here we go. This is very briefly what Shakespeare did in his life. He was born in 1564. He didn't look like that, obviously, when he was born. This is the house that he was born in. This is the room we think he was born in. He was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, this little town in the south of England. You can go there. You go to the house. You can look at the room. It's an amazing experience. You should totally do it. So when he's about 18, different times, he gets married to a woman called Anne Hathaway, and they have 3 children. This is not how it happened. He actually had one daughter, and then he had twins, a son and a daughter. Quite soon after that, lucky Anne, he moves to London. So by age 28, Anne's looking after the kids in Stratford-upon-Avon, but Shakespeare is living in London, and he's a well-known actor. And in the 1590s, he becomes a well-known playwright. So here's the famous Globe Theatre, which you can visit in London, the kind of beautiful reconstruction of the theatre that most of Shakespeare's plays got put on. What I didn't realise... So, last week we talked about what a sonnet is. Really, you can go and watch that lesson if you like. It's on my website. We learned that a sonnet is just a type of poem, like a limerick or a haiku is a type of poem. I didn't know that the reason Shakespeare wrote sonnets is not because they're like all Shakespeare-y and posh and old. It's just that they happened to be incredibly trendy when he was living in London and writing, only for quite a brief time. Everyone was writing sonnets. Loads of people were writing loads of big collections of sonnets. Shakespeare wrote the most. No one wrote more than him. He wrote 154. But yeah, there was just this big trend, and then, like all trends do, it just kind of passed, and sonnets became not cool, but that's why people wrote sonnets in the 1590s. In 1608, Shakespeare's mother dies. In 1609, all the sonnets that he's written, all 154 sonnets, are published in this book. The title of the book is kind of interesting. Shakespeare's Sonnets Never Before Imprinted, never put into print before. In 1613, famously, the Globe Theatre burns down. We've done a Lego story about that. And then quite soon after that, Shakespeare moves back to Stratford-upon-Avon, where he dies. Now, guys, what I didn't know is, I've been always more interested in Shakespeare's plays, I have to admit, because I like acting, and you can show off in a play. I didn't realise, most historians think that Shakespeare didn't mean for his sonnets to be published. Like famously, like teenagers pour out their feelings into song lyrics or poems. It might be that Shakespeare was doing the same thing. Someone who writes a lot about books, mentions before the sonnets are published about how Shakespeare, in fact I wrote it down, someone called Francis Mears, says, "The witty soul lives in honey-tongued Shakespeare. Witness his sugared sonnets among his private friends." So maybe one of Shakespeare's friends leaked his sonnets to the publisher, because the introduction in the book of Shakespeare's sonnets isn't written by Shakespeare, it's written by the publisher, which is a bit weird. They didn't really have copyright laws in those days. People would go to the theatre and secretly try and write down all the things that the actors were saying and then publish the play, because that was a good way to make money. So yeah, this might be Shakespeare's private thoughts, almost like his diary, that is suddenly getting spewed out to the whole of London. This is a big deal anyway, but it's a particularly big deal because Shakespeare was writing very openly about how he wrote his sonnets for a really long time, not just while they were trendy. And some of them are for men, and some of them are for women. He was in love with men and he was in love with women throughout the course of his life. These days, not even worth commenting on, but in those days, men weren't allowed to marry men. So suddenly, having everyone in London find out through reading all your private stuff that you love men and women was a really big deal. And I can't believe I didn't know that. And I sort of feel a little bit weird about reading Shakespeare's sonnets now, but also it makes it more exciting. So we don't think they were published in the order he wrote them in, because he didn't maybe plan to have them published. In the book, they're just numbered from 1 to number 154 in order. But in real life, we think he wrote numbers 127 to 154 actually first, and then number 1 to number 103. So if you're going to read all 154 in order, maybe that's the order to choose. 20 of the early sonnets are definitely about a young man, because he sort of mentions it, and 7 of them are definitely about a woman. Here is one of the lines showing you how obvious it is. "Two loves I have, of comfort and despair, that like two spirits do suggest me still. My better angel is a man right fair, my worser spirit a woman coloured ill." Now, obviously he wasn't necessarily writing from the heart. It could have been him pretending, but some of them are really personal. So we think that maybe he was in love with the Earl of Southampton, because a lot of the poems to the man are sort of saying to the man, you should get married and you should have children. And maybe it's oh, I love you, but because you're all posh and important, you need to get married anyway to put on appearances. Anyway, let's have a look at Sonnet 18. I'm going to read it to you. Last week we looked at how the middle of a sonnet has got this thing called a volta in it. The volta is the point where the sonnet sort of changes theme ever so slightly, or changes tone. So you've got the first 8 lines usually, and then the volta means that the next lines, like 9 to 14, have a slightly different tone. What I think it would be nice if you did is, if you close your eyes and I'll read it, see if you can hear when the volta comes. See if you can hear when it seems to shift. But I've put it on the screen. I mean, you can just read it if you want to. But try not to count the lines. Just have a think about it. Try and feel it, man. Shakespeare's most famous sonnet, one of the most famous sonnets ever written. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Shakespeare's sonnet number 18, everybody. Whew. Can you sort of feel where the volta comes? This is the first part of the poem before the volta. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. So this is all about, well, summer's lovely, isn't it? But this is all about the problems with summer. Summer is just not as good as the man that Shakespeare is in love with. The man is much more lovely than summer. So the summer might have rough winds. Summer's lease hath all too short a date. What a lovely way of putting it. So summer's lease. Lease means kind of borrow or hire. So we just borrow summer, and it really only lasts a very short time. This is one of these poems that I know it really well, and I've been completely taking it for granted. Like, oh yeah, sonnet number 18. I've never thought about how gorgeous that phrase is. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. So the eye of heaven is, I think it's the sun, right? Sometimes the eye of heaven, the sun, is too hot. It is. And sometimes it gets dimmer and it's too cold. It's true. Summer is rubbish, right? And every fair from fair sometime declines. So Shakespeare means beautiful here. Every fair from fair sometime declines. So things that are beautiful decline. They become less beautiful as time goes by, as nature goes on untrimmed. So this is all about stuff not lasting, beauty not lasting because nature happens. So I asked you, which of these roses do you think is the most beautiful? I mean, the point of this lesson, right? This bit is to say, beauty is not a science. I cannot possibly tell you what is more beautiful than something else, because beauty is just, first of all, it comes in trends, and secondly, it's very personal, isn't it? But I can tell you a few facts about these roses. So the flower is the youngest one, because the flower gets pollinated if the flower is lucky, and then the flower dies off and you get the fruit with the seeds in. So you might have thought the flower was the most beautiful. The rose hips, I've put there the firmest. They're kind of the richest colour, right? They've got the neatest lines. So if you like kind of clean, classic lines, you might have found those more beautiful. Number 2 is particularly nice for me because it's the tastiest. Kids don't just like take stuff from nature and eat it. Check with an adult first. But if you get these rose hips and you squeeze them, you get this little stream of gorgeous bright red sort of gel coming out, which has got loads of vitamin C in it. It's really tasty. Don't eat the seeds because they go through your body, and when they get to your bum, they make you really itchy. Don't eat the seeds. That's a whole different lesson. We've actually done a rose hips show. Anyway, I started looking into the sort of trends of beauty over the years in the West where Shakespeare was writing. Turns out in the 1100s, it was considered beautiful to have a long face. So this is a statue of Eleanor of Aquitaine, who was Queen of France and then Queen of England in the late 1100s. Famously thought of as being incredibly beautiful. Obviously, I think this model of her has seen better days, but she has got a very long face, hasn't she? So she's got quite a long nose, and in those days, that would have been like the kind of height of beauty. In the 1500s, you just had to wear jewels. Like, if you're not wearing jewels, what are you doing? Don't leave the house. So here is a beautiful woman from Rubens' The Four Rivers of 1610. Now, Definitely one of the things that Shakespeare is saying in his poem, I think, is that beauty is related to youth. One of his sonnets, he actually says, "Although I know my years be past their best," when he was like 35 or younger. So we know that youth is beautiful according to Shakespeare. What else can we say about Shakespeare's beautiful young man? What does Shakespeare's beautiful young man look like? You've got the time it takes me to sip some coffee to go through this sonnet number 18 again and see what does he look like, this chap? You might be saying he's got a gold complexion. I mean, it is his gold complexion, isn't it? Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. So you might think that's a reference to the man's gold complexion, but actually, strictly speaking, he's talking about the sun, isn't he? Thy eternal summer. He doesn't say, does he? He doesn't say. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. It's like Shakespeare knew, we'll talk about this later, that his poem was going to last for hundreds of years and that fashions and trends would change and that he wanted us to be picturing a beautiful man to us. If he'd said, "Oh, your long nose is so beautiful," then we might have been like, it's not so on trend these days. I like it that he's left it up to us. Right, while we're waiting for these bits of apple to go brown or not to go brown, that is the question. I'm going to do some English teaching, like proper English teaching. I have 3 words for you that mean stuff that people do in poems to make the poems good in it. One of these words I think you might already know if you know anything about like poems and English literature. 2 of them, yeah, I can't lie, 2 of them were new to me. So here's the first word that I think if you know any of them, you'll know this one. Alliteration. Words that start with the same letter or sound. So, seeking to show you some simple sample, I suggest this sentence. See, there's a lot of alliteration in this. Alliteration is when words start with the same letter, or it could just be the same sound. So, seeking isn't really alliterating with show, because seeking and they're different sounds. But seeking some simple sample suggests sentence C. That would be alliteration, right? And if you wanted to stick the word ceiling on the end, then that would be alliteration as well, because it's the same sound. See? Right, so that's alliteration. It's got to be the first letter of the word to make it alliteration. And there can be words in between, just not too many, right? So that's seeking to show you some simple sample, that's fine, that's alliteration. All right, the next word. This really annoyed me. Consonants. The same consonant sounds near each other, not always the same letter, not vowels. So I keep wanting to call it consonants. You know that vowels are A, E, I, O, U, yeah? And all the letters of the alphabet that aren't the vowels are the consonants. The more you say consonants, the weirder it sounds. But anyway, what consonants is it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the word, but it's the same consonant sounds near each other. For example, tick-tock goes the kitchen clock in its case. There's a lot of consonants in that sentence. The tick and the tock and the kitchen, case, clock. That would be consonants. Notice that it's not like alliteration. It doesn't have to be at the start of the word. It can be anywhere in the word, like clock or tick, tock. And it doesn't have to be the same letter. It's just the same sound. So it doesn't matter if it's a kicking-ka or a curly-ka. Is that all right? So that's consonants. For some of you, that will be quite enough. So what I'd like you to do, please. Last week we had a look at Shakespeare's sonnet number 116. Doesn't matter if you weren't here, you're seeing it right now. Here's the first 4 lines of sonnet number 116. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. So can you find me, you don't have to find it all, can you just find me some examples of alliteration in those lines? So words that start with the same letter or the same sound. Some alliteration, please. Can you find me some consonants? Consonants, which is the same consonant sounds near each other. Don't have to be at the start of the word, right? So just anything that isn't A, E, I, O, or U, the same letters near each other. And if you're like, Lara, I know this already. Fine. Can you do some assonance as well? Why didn't they call it vowelants? I don't know. Assonance is the same as consonants, but with the vowels. So if there's an A sound and an A sound near each other, that would be assonance. Why did they put the word ass in there? Anyway, I don't know. See how you go with that. I'm going to sip a bit more coffee. And then we will apply that to sonnet number 18 as well. But I want you to try with this one first. I should say, if you're just brimming over with ideas and screaming at your telly, then if you've got a Facebook account, whenever I'm live on YouTube, I always put a post up on my Facebook page that you can comment on, and I'll read them out at the end. So at the end of this lesson, I'm going to go to my Facebook page and read out any of the comments that people have made on the posts at the top. So if you would like to do that, or, you know, get an adult servant to do that while you're doing this lesson, then you can. If not, don't worry about it. Thanks for lurking. Couldn't have you all commenting. We wouldn't ever finish the lesson. It'd take ages. How are you getting on? Have you found a few? If you're bored, you can always like and subscribe, can't you? Have you found a few? It can be the same word, by the way. It can be the same word. So like same would be alliteration because of this. And it would be vowel-nonants, assonance as well because of the A. And it'd be consonants, wouldn't it? Because of the Yeah, so it can be the same word. Should we have a little look? Is that all right? I don't want to rush you. There's absolutely loads of suggestions, I think, here. And some of them I've probably missed. All right, let's go through the alliteration. Alliteration. So we're just looking at the starts of the words for the same sorts of sounds. Okay, so there's a lot going on, right? Let me not to the marriage of true minds. That's definitely alliteration. Love is not love is alliteration, even though it's the same word. And again, alters when it alteration finds, because alliteration can be a vowel or a consonant, that's fine. The same with remover to remove, that's all alliteration. You didn't have to find it all, it's just wanting you to exercise your brain and find a couple of examples. The consonants, it takes me a little while to, I can't always see consonants, but we've got let me not to, that's consonants, isn't it? Let me not to, the marriage of true minds, admit impediments, there's loads. And then you've got the D's, minds, admit impediments. Where am I going now? There's so much. Oh yeah, the M's as well. So we had M's at the start of the words for alliteration, but also you could, the consonants applies as well. Admit impediments, and then you got the minds and that. I can't even see where I'm putting up now. Oh yeah, alters, it, alteration. I can't see. Oh yeah, which alters when. There's absolutely loads, isn't there? I'd missed out on alliteration. Finds, bends, remover to remove. There's loads of consonants. Did you get anywhere with your vowelants, your assonants? So rude. So admit impediments was the big one there, I think. Admit impediments. And then is as well. Of is not la of. And then the not sort of kind of fits there as well. Alters when it alteration finds. There's absolutely loads of stuff going on there, isn't there? Right. I'll give you a bit less time. Can you just have another go at that, please? But this time with the sonnet that we are allegedly supposed to be studying this lesson. Sonnet number 18. Just the first 4 lines. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Can you find me some alliteration in there? Can you find me some consonants? And can you find me some vowel-nonants? Some assonants, please. And if you're confused, oh, maybe that's the point. Maybe you could think about, if you're confused, why are you confused? All right, I don't know about you. I can't find any alliteration in this whatsoever. I'll give you a bit more time for the other ones. I can't find any. If you go further down the poem, you find a bit. Fair from fair is lovely, isn't it? Every fair from fair declines. And right at the end, so long lives this and this gives life to thee. But this first bit that I've given you, I can't see any alliteration there at all. What about the consonants? There's some consonants in here actually that is lovely that I hadn't spotted, and then Alice pointed it out on Facebook yesterday. A good thing to do actually is just to, there might be bits that you quite like and you haven't thought about why you like them. There might be some little bits that kind of stand out for you that sort of tickle you. Inspect those bits, because quite often it's because there is something there that you just haven't noticed if you're anything like me. Especially if you say it out loud. I mean, we have to remember that all of these were really, all of the stuff that Shakespeare wrote was really intended, I think, to be read out loud. Right, should we go? So the little bits of consonants, I'd said maybe like art, more lovely and more temperate, but it's a bit tenuous, isn't it? Like they're really far apart from each other. A much better example is Alice's one that I missed actually. She said on Facebook in this lesson yesterday, she said, Summer's lease has got something nice going on. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, Summer's lease. Summer's lease, it's just nice to say. And it is because there's consonants there, isn't it? Summer's lease. It's a beautiful example, which I hadn't spotted. Too short a date is fun to say as well, and that's because I think there's some consonants there. Too short a date. There is some assonants as well, right? Oh yeah, I decided to go a little bit further and show you some consonants further on. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest. So long lives this, and this gives life to thee. It's quite nice as well at the end there. But yeah, the assonants, so more lovely and more temperate. Oh, same word, isn't it? And then the 8, there's quite a lot of nice 8s, temperate, shake, may, date. So there's some stuff going on, but actually there's not that much going on. Which is sort of the point actually. It's quite often the way, isn't it? Like this is one of the most famous, most popular sonnets ever written. And it's probably because it is so simple. It's not kind of trying too hard to be too fancy pants, is it? It's just very simple. It just does what it set out to do in a beautiful way. On that note, here's sonnet number 116 that we looked at last week, right next to sonnet 18. What do you notice about the punctuation? What do you notice about the punctuation at the ends of the lines? Oh, I've said too much. Look at the punctuation at the ends of the lines. What's the difference? Sonnet number 18, it doesn't have any lines that don't have punctuation at the end, does it? You've got question marks, colons, full stops, whatever, commas. Sonnet number 16 is more typical. It kind of runs over the line. This is generally like what sonnets do, I think, for pace. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments is one chunk. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds. So again, in sonnet 18 we find these very kind of neat, closed, almost like individual ideas lined up one after another. Splendid. Right, let's start talking. Now we've done the Englishy bit, let's look at the second bit, the bit under the Volta, and start talking about preserving things. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. So your summer is not going to end. What? Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. So death isn't going to start showing off that he's taken you. When in eternal lines to time thou growest. No one's quite sure what these eternal lines are, but it might be that the eternal lines are the lines of the poem. When in eternal lines, so that the beautiful young man has been put into these poetic lines that are going to last forever. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this and this gives life to thee. That is a bold claim, isn't it? This is a confident writer saying, so yeah, Shakespeare is saying, I've written this poem is going to last forever, and therefore so are you. I must admit, before I started studying this to teach it to you, I always thought that was a little bit naff. like, I've got science brain. I was like, well, that's not true, is it? I mean, paper erodes. People aren't going to remember this poem until the end of humanity. Surely, stuff just decays into the ground, and that's a beautiful thing, because then all the particles that make up, like, my body might become the rings of Saturn or the poo of a worm, and it's cool. But then I found out a bit more about this Shakespeare's sonnet business, and now I love it. So the first 17 sonnets, numbers 1 to number 17, are all Shakespeare telling a young man that he should get married and have children. So here's the very end. If we look at the prequel, here's the very end of sonnet 17, before we get to the sonnet we're looking at today. But were some child of yours alive that time, you should live twice, in it and in my rhyme. So Shakespeare, at the very end of sonnet number 17, suddenly gets this idea that maybe the beautiful young man doesn't have to have children in order to live forever. Because there's loads of different ways, aren't there, that humans try and preserve themselves. We sort of think of, like, if you have a child, then that's kind of that is obviously passing the DNA in your body onto someone else. So when you die, that person can go on, so your DNA is kind of surviving. For Shakespeare, that wasn't the case. Shakespeare had children. One of his children died. Two of his children either didn't have children, or they had children and those children died. So there's no one alive today who has Shakespeare's DNA. People get put on the backs of coins, don't they? Or there are statues of people. The Egyptians, which is kind of what we've been touching on with this activity, actually physically tried to preserve people with mummies. So what the Egyptians did was, one of the things that makes people decay when they die is, like, bacteria and fungi sort of eating. Sounds, it's not quite eating, is it? But, like, decomposing, consuming the body, and that breaks the particles up and spreads them around. How the Egyptians did it is they removed as much moisture as they could from the bodies, because that moisture sort of molds, loves wet conditions, right? So if you can make something nice and dry, it probably won't go mouldy. That's one of the things that we did with our apple pieces here. So the one that, wait, I've messed up the order, haven't I? There we go. Can we see any differences? It's not that obvious, is it? So that was the original apple. That was the vinegary one. That was the lemony one, and that was the salty one. Hopefully you can tell, although it's not that obvious, that the apple one on its own is already starting to go brown, and the salty one is still quite fresh. In fact, if you look at these examples from here, that one there, the very brightest, whitest one, that's the salty one, and that one's just apple on its own. So a day later, there's a huge difference there, and that's because that's what we've done. The salt draws the moisture out of the apple, so that keeps it fresher. The acidy ones were slightly different. So there are enzymes in apple which react with oxygen in the air, and that's what makes it go brown. It's kind of like, you know how, like, rust, if rust gets reacted with oxygen in the air, if iron reacts with oxygen in the air, then it goes rusty, right? So iron particles react with oxygen and they turn into rust. The enzymes in apple react with oxygen and make brownness. But the citric acid in lemon juice stops the enzymes working, so it doesn't go brown. Whereas I don't think the acid in vinegar does the same thing, because in my examples here, the vinegary one is looking quite brown. So I think it's got to be citric acid. So that's the lemon juice one, which is still looking pretty sharp, isn't it? Pretty good. So that's the citric acid that stops those enzymes working, so they can't go brown. Whereas that's the vinegary one, which is looking really just as sad as the original apple. Interesting. So I actually blooming love now the idea, just before we play some bingo to end the lesson, I love the idea that Shakespeare is saying you don't have to have children because I have written this poem about you and that will preserve you forever. And it blooming did, didn't it? He was right. Well, 400 years later, we are still talking about the beautiful young man, which to me is just completely amazing. Much more successful than making a statue of somebody. Right, are you ready to play some bingo to end the lesson, to see how much you've taken in from this lesson? I've got a bingo sheet here. If you've been to my website, the printouts are free. I'll explain at the end of the lesson how on earth I just make everything free and I still get paid. It's awesome. It's entirely down to you. If you've been to my website and you've got a printer and stuff, you might have got this bingo grid in front of you. If you haven't got the bingo grid, don't worry about it. I would just draw 3 lines down and 3 lines across. Don't bother writing in all the words. But if you hear if you think like the word 116 is the right answer, just like cross off the bit on your grid where 116 should be. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Cross off the right answer. You can get a line of 4 up or across or diagonally, and when you get a line, then say bingo. I have printed off the questions because I thought that would make it easy for you, and then I've left them on my printer because of my brain. So I'm just going to grab them actually, because I think that'll make it easy for you. Alright, so question number 1. Hello. Just chopping them up. Question number 1 is, I've got an example here of a literary device. Which literary device is an example of? Thank you, Katie, for these gorgeous magnets. They're perfect for this. Can you see that? Put it over here. Your sentence is that okay? Great, my dog and bag got on the rug is an example of what? Great, my dog and bag got on the rug is an example of what? So from top left to bottom right, your words are consonants. Not many other poetic forms had been invented. 154, 18, a woman's face, they were fashionable, a man's face. Elizabeth I made it the law. 116, alliteration, Volta, assonance, amper, sun, squirmy wormy, wicked wormy. So great, my dog and bag got on the rug is an example of what, please? Question number 2. Oh no, I've just realised I've made a terrible mistake. Because Facebook won't flip, I've had to make all these. Right, okay, here we go. I've got to give you these questions in the right order, or you might get a bingo at the wrong time. It's all been very carefully planned. I think this is the next question. The next question is, how many sonnets did Shakespeare write, please? Question number 2, how many sonnets did Shakespeare write? Yes, it's all going fine. So cross off the right answer. She should have 2 answers crossed off. You have to be a bit careful. Some people were getting a too early bingo yesterday when I did this on Facebook. Question number 3. What is the name for the middle of a sonnet? What's the name for the midpoint of Shakespeare's sonnets, or any sonnet? So question number 1, great, my dog and bag got on the rug is an example of what? Question number 2, how many sonnets did Shakespeare write? Question number 3, what's the word for the middle of the poem where it sort of changes tone or theme a little bit? You all right? Question number 4, if you missed previous lessons, Katie's dad works at CERN and sent me these gorgeous particle magnets. Katie is such a legend. Question number 4, in Shakespeare's sonnet number 18, what is the eye of heaven? What is the eye of heaven in Shakespeare's sonnet number 18? Question number 5. Why did people write sonnets in the 1590s? Why did people write sonnets in the 1590s? Was it that not many other poetic forms had been invented? Was it because they were fashionable? Was it because Elizabeth I, who was queen at the time, made it the law? Why did people write sonnets in the 1590s? You got it? All right, next question. What number sonnet begins, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. What number sonnet is that? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. I had to learn it when I was 11 for school. So it's the only poem that I know off by heart, because when you're 11, just everything goes into your brain and you never forget. It's a great superpower. I miss that superpower. Okay, how are we getting on? Great, my dog and bag got on the rug as an example of how many sonnets did Shakespeare write? What's the name for the middle of a sonnet? What is the eye of heaven in Shakespeare's sonnet? Why did people write sonnets in the 1590s? What number sonnet begins, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Next question. Which of these on the board here is alliteration? Which of these is alliteration? Is it they were fashionable? Is it a woman's face? Is it squirmy wormy? Is it wicked wormy? Which of those is alliteration, please? Next question. If Shakespeare walked into a bar and said, no, there isn't a next question because hopefully you've got a bingo, hopefully. Because I don't have any more questions to ask you. That was the last one. That should have led you to a bingo. Have you got a bingo? Hopefully you're shouting bingo. I'll go to my Facebook page in a bit and see if anyone is shouting bingo at me. Shall I go through the answers? Great. Great. My dog and bag got on the... There's a lot of guz there, but they're not all at the beginning of the sentence of the word. So that is an example of consonants. There we go. How many sonnets did Shakespeare write? He wrote 154. Let's get rid of them, shall we? As we go. Oh, I better not. What is the name for the middle of a sonnet? It's the volta. Learned that last week. So that's a bit harder if you only came this week. What is the eye of heaven? Well, I've seen some people say that it's the summer. I think it's the sun, right? God, don't ever look at the sun with your eyes. But what a beautiful idea that it's the eye. It's how... like the gods are looking down on us or something. Anyway, so yeah, it's the sun. Why did people write sonnets in the 1590s? It was because they were totes cool, man. They were fashionable. That one. Which sonnet begins, shall I compare thee to? It is sonnet number 18, that one. Sonnet number 18. And finally, wicked wormy is an example of assonance. Wormy is the Theatre of Science mascot, so I've got so many worms behind me. A lot of people saying it should have been wonderful wormy. Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologise. So that was your bingo. Right down the middle there, that diagonal line. Right. Gosh, that was our last Shakespeare lesson of this module. They're all saved on my website if you missed them and you want to watch them on catch up. All of the printouts are free. I'm taking 2 weeks off now if you're watching live to have an Easter break and finish the magazine and get my magazine off to the printers to send to my supporters. And then we're back and we're studying the science of theme parks. Which will be really interesting for me because I am very much no, we're not buying that. I've brought a picnic. I'll hold the coats. I don't want to go on that kind of theme park visitor. But you really want me to talk about the science of theme parks, so I will. It'll be great. So join me in 2 weeks' time for the science of theme parks. I'll go over to my Facebook page now and see if anyone has left me any comments. You always have because you're awesome. Yeah, while I'm doing that, I will just tell you how I do this for free. This is literally my job. It's so amazing. I mean, look how lucky I am that this is my actual job. How it works is everything that I do is free. Everything that I produce online is free. So all of my lessons are free. All of the printouts for the lessons are free. My sort of rule in my head is I won't charge for anything that might help a child to pass an exam. So if there's anything that might help you at any point in the future to pass an exam, that's just a good sort of rule of thumb. I won't charge for it. So everything's available on my website for watching on catch up. I stream free IGCSE physics lessons because I'm trained to teach physics to A level. Yeah, it's all free. And I just say to people, if you can support me, if you feel like what I'm doing is worth £5 a month, then please visit my website, my page on Coffee, and send me £5 a month. And you are... So this is my job. It's so cool. Like I don't do any private tuition. I just started streaming these lessons in lockdown and it's just carried on and it's my job because there's loads of you paying me a very small amount per month. So it equals wage for me. So yeah, if you go to my About section on YouTube, which is where you are, and you follow this link to Coffee, then you can sign up with £5 a month and I will send you some nice things to say, thank you so much, this is clearly the best job ever. So I'll send you some rainbow glasses that make you see rainbows. They split the white light in your room into all the colours of the rainbow. They're awesome. Shall I show you? Maybe I'll show you. I'll show you. I don't usually show you, but I'll show you because they are very cool. So if you look at a light bulb with these glasses on, and it's the same everywhere. Everywhere where there is light coming in, you get these rainbows. It's gorgeous. So I'll send you a pair of those and I'll also send you an information sheet showing you how they work as well, because I'm a physics teacher, so I could write that. And I will send you Theatre of Science magazine. Now, my supporters know that the £5 a month is to pay my wages, and the magazine that I write is like a bonus. I feel really guilty because it takes ages to come out. This last one has taken longer than any of the others, but it's about to come out. It's actually a really good time to sign up, because it's almost like buy one get one free at the moment, because when you sign up, you get a past issue, or you get 2 past issues if you support me with £6 a month. You get 3 past issues if you support me with £9 a month. But then you'll be on the list. So when the next magazine comes out, it's going to the printers like within the next few days. And then when it comes back from the printers, I'm going to pack it all up, put the free gifts in, post it out to all my supporters. So if you sign up now, you will be a supporter, so you will just automatically get it. But yeah, if you sign up today, I will send you this issue, which is on mould. That's what you get if you sign up with £5 a month. It comes with a free home compostable plastic bag. It's got loads of beautiful choose your own adventure. It's got a comic in it. It's got loads of information about mould. And yeah, you can grow your own mould. Look at all the different colours, see what you've got, and then compost it in an eco-friendly way. And if you sign up with £6 a month, wow, you can sign up with £1 billion a month if you like. But if you sign up with £6 a month, I'll send you the sleep issue as well at the moment, which has got a beautiful comic in it about sleep and a choose your own adventure, a jigsaw. It comes with some organic lavender and some fabric, so you can sew your own little sleep squish. Very proud of Theatre Science magazine. Not proud of how long it takes it to come out, but I do just love having something that I can send you that I can make it as good as I want it to be. Like obviously with the lessons, I've got a deadline, and whether the lesson is kind of exactly how I want it to be, I have to go live, which is good because otherwise I would never go live. But yeah, the magazine is the thing that I can kind of like really craft and get it just right before I release it to you, which yeah does mean that it's a real joy to do. It's like sending you all a letter basically. Okay, I'm on my Facebook page. Whoa, ABBA, what is this? Okay, so if you don't know what I'm doing, I've gone over to my Facebook page where there's a post at the top of my Facebook page. I got hacked. Some of you might not have seen that. If you go to my YouTube homepage, there's a big red video with some links at the bottom, so you can get to my new page that way. Please like it. Please like my new page. Thanks. Got about 10%. Doesn't matter. Right. ABBA saw The Tempest at the Globe Theatre 2 years ago, and it's her favourite Shakespeare play, so she's loved this term. Amazing. And here is a drawing. Is that what? That is so good. Oh. Is that I can't tell whether this is actually a character from The Tempest. It could be Ariel from The Tempest. It could be Miranda from The Tempest. It could just be a super cool, gorgeous drawing. ABBA, I'm getting my haircut today and you're making me want to grow it long so that I can do epic platty thing. That's so cool. Thank you for that. That is stunning. Oh, hello. Oh, Matilda. Thanks. That's nice. A nice message from Matilda. Hello, Aurelia. She says she'll miss you in Easter break. Oh, that's nice. Oh, you went to Shakespeare's house last year. I went to Shakespeare's house last year. Maybe I just missed you. It's awesome, isn't it? It's so cool. I couldn't get over it. Like even the wallpaper, it turns out, they've put it up, but they found some wallpaper in a pub that they think Shakespeare or Shakespeare's family would have stayed at, so it was like relevant to that. It's so beautifully done. Hello Alice, thank you for the inspiration. We watched a recording of The Tempest at the Minnock Theatre. That's a great idea. Is it Minnock or Minack, that one in Cornwall that's been sort of carved out? That's a great idea. I should find that. Hello Finn, found this unit on Shakespeare very interesting. Could you do a lesson on Alexander Hamilton for drama and history? Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll write it on the board. There you go. He's gone under Hamilton. He's gone just above otters on my list. Edmund is watching live. No! Sorry, Edmund. It's Edmund's birthday today. Edmund, happy birthday. He got up early and opened his presents before the lesson starts, so he didn't miss anything. No way, that's so cool of you. That's amazing. I can't imagine, with all your awesome interests, what you got for your birthday. I hope you have a really good day. His older sister is here too. She has joined him to celebrate his birthday. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad that your birthday like drew in your older sister. I didn't know about older sister. Hi. Feel a little bit intimidated. Older sisters. Oh no. Hello, Edith and Edward. Oh, you've enjoyed this Shakespeare blog. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I have as well. Yeah, it's really, really, really influenced how I sort of consume Shakespeare. I actually went to see my friend in a production of The Tempest just last week. And to be honest, it annoyed me in a way that it wouldn't have annoyed me before because they changed quite a lot of the lines. And I was really comfortable with a lot of the lines and like really looking forward to bits. But instead of like, full fathom 5, thy father lies, of his bones a coral made, they said, full fathom 5, thy father lies, of his bones are made of coral. And I was like, oh, what? Outrageous! I'm really looking forward to that bit. And they messed it up. Sorry, Mark, if you're watching, it was still a really good, enjoyable experience. Just that, you know. Right. Oh, here's Ruby and Grace. I'm sure Mark's not watching. Oh, wait. Okay, so Edith and Edward. Hello. Nice alliteration and assonance there with your names. Love it. Hello, Grace and Hope. They loved visiting Stratford last week. Oh, man. Home ed, where you can just get right into it whenever you're studying something. Last week you went to Shakespeare's birthplace and having a lesson where he went to school. Oh, did you? Oh, I went to, because you went to see First Encounters. Right. Oh, what did you think of it? I was really down on it, wasn't I? I hope I didn't make you down on it. I didn't even get to see their Ariel because Ariel was ill when we watched it. And the someone who worked on it just sort of came on and went, hiya, I'll be playing Ariel. I'm not an actor. Sorry. And walked off again. It's like, all right. Do I get 70p off my ticket price? Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. Oh my goodness, can't believe you had a lesson at where Shakespeare went to school. That's so cool. I went in the shop, full disclosure, and then it didn't go fully inside. Oh, so jealous. Bingo! You're welcome, Ruby and Oscar. Hello. Hello, Sophie, Emily, Katie and Hannah. We found a Shakespeare love kit. Sorry, what? Is that... what? A Shakespeare love kit. Sophie, Katie, Emily, Hannah, I don't know why else. It's okay, folks. They've sent me a photo, and I think it's just fridge magnets. You found it in a charity shop for £1. That is a bargain. And have had a lot of fun making sonnets and phrases. Maybe not quite as romantic as Shakespeare. Wait, is this going to be... Can I show this, or is this too rude? Oh no, okay, it is fridge magnets. Shakespeare love kits. £1. Wert doth thine gold shine. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I love the vowelants. I love the assonance in there. Wert doth thine gold shine. Oh, that's nice. Excellent transparent window. Excellent transparent. Oh, there's some consonants there. Oh, I love how much better I am at English lit since we did this lesson. Excellent transparent window. Never I wonder, that's really nice. That you maybe didn't even know that you were doing consonants when you did it. Never compare a lover. Oh, that's good too. Never compare a lover. That's assonance, isn't it? You've stuck some vowelants in. Never compare a lover. And vowelants. And, I mean, consonants. I smell blood. Eat her. Wow, these are awesome. And, like you say, terrifying. Oh, that's really cool. I need to get myself a Shakespeare love kit, clearly. Oh, okay. No, yeah, they've included a photo. Thank you so much. It is indeed called a love kit. Shakespeare love kit. There we go. That's a really cool thing to have on your fridge. Shakespeare's love kit. £1. What an absolute bargain. Ravish, savage, ears. Nice. Shakespeare love kit. We have been inside Shakespeare's house, says Lana. Plus we love theme parks. Brilliant. Especially the big ones. All right, Lana Llama Banana, can you send me some information about theme parks, please? We can't really do a lesson on vomit, can we? Can we? Oh, we could. We could do a lesson about why some people vomit if they go round and round. I have been skipping so much. Dexy, have you? Wait, I don't know if... Dexy, that's like a multi-layered sentence. I don't know if you mean you've been skipping so much, like la 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 la, poetry is great, or just like, oh, skip this bit, oh, skip this bit, asa what, skip this bit. Hopefully the first one, or somewhere in between. Hello, Bella and Emma. I did an audition last week. My drama group is doing Alice the Musical. Wait, did you message me about this? Oh, I'm really sorry. I feel like I knew this. I knew that you had a big audition, didn't I? You have told me this. My drama group is doing Alice the Musical. The cast list should be out soon. Oh, yes, do tell me what you get. I hope I get the Duchess or the Queen of Hearts. Me too! Although, I'm sure whatever you get, it will be awesome. That's why I like directing stuff, auditioning for stuff, because I think it's really fun seeing what the director thinks of you as, if you know what I mean. Like when I went for The Tempest, I got Gonzalo, which I wouldn't have suggested. And it turned out to be the most funnest thing I've ever done. I did put the video of my last performance singing Little Girls from Annie in the comments last week. That's maybe what I'm thinking of. Sorry, I didn't see that. Or I didn't watch it. I put the video of my last performance. Okay, I'll try and... Yeah, this is the... I'm trying to think whether I've lost that. No, that should be on my new Facebook page, shouldn't it, I think? Oh, Finley's here as well. Sorry, Finley. Limerick alert. Theatre of Science is the best. It is a fun... Limerick. Okay. Theatre of Science is the best. It is a fun test. Funny and exciting too. None of my family can shoe. Not that I want to. Now my table is a big mess. Yeah, that is what Theatre of Science does. It does make your table a big mess. Yes, it does. Yeah, do you want to see my table? Oh, dear. Go on, let me show you my table before I go. Well, we are doing an eggs activity after it. This is what my desk looks like. I hasten to add, it is the last day of term today, so it could be worse. Could it? Marge Simpson noise there. All right, Henry. Oh yeah, Henry. So sorry. There's a lot of pressure on you now, mate. Because if you don't post a picture of a dragon with your comment, I'd actually be really disappointed. I don't want to say cross. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you. But I'm very pleased to find that there was a picture of a dragon with your comment. Lana and Finley, that was a great limerick. I can't believe you wrote a limerick during a poem lesson. Look at that! The latest offering from Henry. This is one of the elder dragons. Yeah, you can tell actually. Whoa, is that the person for scale? Wow, that guy's massive. What's that? Has he got a mushroom growing on him? Because wait, you haven't said it's a him. Isn't that awful? I just went straight for him. Could well be a female. The female T-Rex was the biggest. Maybe this is a female elder dragon. Has it got some fungus growing on it because it's so old? Or is that some sort of flight flap that I don't know about? Oh, maybe it's got fungus all over it. Oh, that's gorgeous. Anyway, right, okay. Moving on, because I'm very aware that I'm doing a Lego story show about eggs in 27 minutes and I haven't set up the Lego story from yesterday. Oh, hello, Freya and Hannah. Joining on catch up this week. Ah, nice. Wait, I don't know if that means Freya and Hannah are here or if Freya and Hannah are watching on catch up and have had to sit through this whole rigmarole to get to the bit where I say Freya and Hannah. Hannah and Freya, if that's the case, thanks, you legends. Hello. Hello, Imogen and Ophelia. Imogen, Ophelia. Imogen, Ophelia. We got some vowel going on there, some assonance. I'm really worried you're all going to do IGCSE English Lit in a few years' time and write vowel. Don't write assonance. Okay, it's rude, but it's right. Hello, Magnus. Hello, Jay and Daisy and Daniel. Jancy. Oh, here's a picture of the partial solar eclipse on Saturday. We used a hole and projected it onto a piece of card. Oh, that's cool. I've never managed to get that to work. Wow, it really worked for you. Are you sure? Is that actually what you did? So there was a partial solar eclipse last week. If you missed it, don't worry. There's another one next year and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be even bigger than this one. So that's the sun and that little lump there. Unless Jancy have cheated, which I don't think they would have done, but it's so good. That's the moon moving in front of the sun. That's really cool. Yeah, I've never got that to work. Right, who else is here? That's Bella screaming bingo. Nice. Hello, Dexy. Hi, hi, hi. Nice amount of assonance and alliteration there, and consonants. Oh, no, wait, not consonants, because it's at the start. Okay, alliteration and assonance. Nice. All right, Shuki and Arza and Eunice and Salah and Musa. Theatre of Science magazine is coming soon. It's finally coming soon. I got up at 6:30 this morning and wrote the last little article. I'm going to send, with the spy issue, I'm going to send you a sealed envelope, which you need to try and open without showing that it's been opened. Spy style. Bingo, that's right, Anne. Hello, Alfonso. Hello. Oh, yeah, Henry, a picture of a goat. Oh, so good. This is a goat that keeps escaping when the gate is opened. Oh, you're going to open a gate, it's going to escape. The little eel gets between your legs. Hello, Jacob. Right, Jacob, who I met in real life just t'other day. All right, a picture of Henry's goat then. Oh, we're going to go and go. It does look quite slippery. It does look physically and spiritually like quite a slippery character. Okay, I'm going to refresh. I've really got to go because I've got to set up Lego Story Show. But I know it's really annoying if you've just found out that there are comments on Facebook and you leave a comment and I've already left. Let's have a quick look. Shakespeare. Facebook's not always that good at showing me the latest comments, but let's see. Oh, skipping rope, Dexy. Good to know, good to know. Thanks for confirming that. I sent you a video. Oh, brilliant. All right. I went into the shop at the Tower of London, but not the actual Tower of London. All right, good. Henry, thank you for joining me in my which gift shops have you visited without actually visiting the place. The Tower of London. Ah, yeah, so good. It does take a long time, though. You need a long time, right? Oh, Grace and Hope have replied to say they loved it. Oh, you loved it. Oh, that's so good. You saw it quite a long time after me. I wonder if they'd improved it. Or maybe I'm just a big misery guts. I was very cross with it because my child who home educates came out of it and said to me, Mum, I don't think that Shakespeare's for kids. And I was like, you've actually seen 2 Shakespeare plays before this that weren't aimed at kids and didn't even think about it. You just enjoyed it. And this one has made you go, oh yeah, I don't think it's suitable for children. I'm so glad that you liked it. Okay, maybe I'll ease off it then. Oh, Matilda, it's your birthday soon. Wait, oh no, it's been your birthday. You are a new age. Matilda, happy birthday for the 29th of March. Nice. Brilliant. That's very cool. Oh, I'm glad I didn't miss that. Oh, look, Bella is saying happy birthday to Edmund. That's nice. This is my skipping. You've done over 200. Whoa, Dexy's done over 200 skips this morning. That's ridiculous. I won't show you the video, but do you want to hear? Oh, wait, that's... Oh, there we go. That's a lot of skips. You're making me feel bad for just having sat here. Hello, Myra and Thea. Nothing to do with Shakespeare, but we made nebulas in a jar. Sorry, wait, what? That's all my favourite things. I love jars, stuff in jars, and nebula. Whoa. Okay, that's amazing. That is actually... So a nebula, if you don't know, is basically like a big cloud of dust where stars get made. It's kind of the stage just before... Well, there's different meanings, but one of the meanings is... loads of clouds of dust and gas and bits of stuff floating around in space, and then gravity eventually pulls them together and turns that dust and gas into stars. It's amazing. So that's beautiful. It's like a little star nursery. It's where stars are born. It's a star womb. It's gorgeous. I love it. Thank you for showing it to me. Right. Maya and Thea. Let's see if anyone else has said anything, and then we better go. Oh, hello. You've said something else. And this one. You made another one as well. Oh, it's got a sticker on it. Oh, it's got a spaceship on it. Okay, that's awesome. Right. Okay. I think that's everyone's comments. If Facebook hasn't showed me your comment, then I apologise. But yes, I really had better go and set up my Lego Story Show about eggs because I've got 21 minutes. It'll be fine. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you all in 2 weeks' time for the science of theme parks. If you don't like theme parks, then we're on the same page, and I'll try and make them suitable for everyone, despite you maybe having never been to a theme park before. Thank you so much for all the support, especially in the last couple of weeks. It's been quite a difficult few weeks. That is a massive understatement because I've been trying to finish the magazine and plan my lessons and deal with the Facebook hacking as well. So thank you so much. All the shares have made literally all the difference to my business. I think my business would have just folded if people hadn't got the message around. So yeah, all the likes and the shares and the actual real cash money are all phenomenally appreciated in ways that I cannot explain. I will see you all in 2 weeks' time, or I'll see some of you in 20 minutes for the Lego show about eggs. Bye!